Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we'll be working on showing you how to use Blue-9 Pet Products Multifunction Leash. Now, of course, it says it in its name, multifunction. That means you can use it many different ways. I'll be demonstrating with my demo dog, Rue, on how to use the multifunction leash with the balance harness, but you can also use this attached to your dog's collar as well. Now, there's a wide variety of different ways that you can use this leash, including as a regular 6-foot leash, folded over as a 3.5-foot leash, or you can also use it as an over-the-shoulder leash so that you can walk hands-free. You can also use it for tethering a puppy or a small dog to a heavy piece of furniture while they're in your line of eyesight. So let's get started showing you these different ways. I've got our medium-large sized multifunction leash here, and I want to point out a couple of features before I show you how to use it on my demo dog, Rue. So with our multifunction leash, it does have bolt snaps on either side of the leash. So in order to understand which one we're using, I'd like to kind of label them. So we're going to call this bolt snap 1. Bolt snap 1 has an extra D-ring that's attached right next to it. Usually I put this bolt snap attached to my dog first. And bolt snap 2 does not have a D-ring next to it. So we'll call this bolt snap 2, and usually we're hanging on to this side of the leash. So to start, I'm going to attach bolt snap number 1 down to the front leash attachment point on my dog. That front leash attachment point helps manage pulling. He's wearing Blue-9 Pet Products balance harness, so if he were to take off and start pulling, I would have a little bit more leverage over him because my leash is attached to the front leash attachment point. Now, one of the standard ways to use this multifunction leash is as a 6-foot leash. So what I'm going to do is just attach my bolt snap number 2 to the first D-ring on the multifunction leash, and now I have a 6-foot leash. This is great for taking your dog for a walk in the park. He'll have a little bit more space to be able to move around, but you still have a fixed length leash, which is what you'll need if you're working on teaching your dog how to walk nicely on a loose leash. Now, another way that you can use this harness is as an over-the-shoulder leash. So what I'll do here is unhook bolt snap number 2, and what I'm going to do now is loop it over my shoulder. Now, by looping it over my shoulder, that leaves my hands free, which allows me to do some different training with my dog so I can teach him how to get into heel position, walk a little bit nicer on a leash. Now, it's important to note that if you are using the over-the-shoulder setup like this, you want to make sure that you're only doing this with a dog that is not going to lunge or pull, because that could cause damage to your body. Now, this is also a great way to use the leash if you have a small puppy and you want to tether them to you so that they're always with you when you're inside the house. It helps you manage their behavior to make sure that they're not getting into any trouble. If I'm going to be in a high traffic situation, like going to the farmer's market, for example, then what I might also do is attach my leash all the way down to the D-ring that is closest to bolt snap number 1. Now from here, once I get this, a little untwisted, from here, now I have a traffic leash. So if I'm in a high traffic situation, I now have my dog nice and close to me. He doesn't have 6 feet in order to go and find something to get into trouble with. He's nice and close to me, and that allows us to walk through those high traffic situations. Now, if you have a dog that is a very strong puller, we recommend using the double attachment points on the balance harness. So what I'll do here is unhook bolt snap number 2. And what I'm going to do here is attach my leash to the rear leash attachment point on my dog's harness. So you guys can see that I have one attached to the front leash attachment point and one attached to the rear leash attachment point. Our multifunction leash comes in 2 webbing widths, 5/8 inch and 1 inch. Now, which size you choose to go with is totally your handler preference. Both leashes are weight rated to hold a wide variety of different dogs, so there's no concern about how big your dog is. It really has to do with what feels comfortable in your hands. Because I have relatively petite hands, I typically prefer using the small medium size, which is 5/8 inch for the nylon webbing. But if you have larger hands, or if you feel like having something that feels a little heftier in your hands, you can certainly go with the medium large size, which is 1 inch wide webbing. All of our nylon is premium soft touch nylon that's sourced here in the United States, and it only gets better with age. To learn more about Blue-9 pet products, visit www.blue-9.com. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever it's at on this screen.